Hello, my friends. Welcome back into episode 2 of Relegation Ranger Returns. Don't you love alliteration? Like, go ahead, hit that like button because you love alliteration like I do. All right, my friends, I'm bringing you right back to where we were. And I got a lot of comments that were like, go for it. And then somebody, I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up right now, pointed out, there's been a lot of English club saves, just as a general theme. Let's do something different. And I think about if this is the Big Sam simulator, does Big Sam just kind of hang around and wait? Maybe. If it were me, if a quality club and a quality league came to me and said, hey, we want you, I'm not waiting for something else to happen. In particular, because the longer you wait, the shorter the window is for whichever club you join in terms of trying to rescue them. So I think we're going to take... And there was some pronunciation help in the comments. There's gonna need to be more of that, my friends. Yeah, so just get ready. Get ready. Not my strong suit in the French language. FC Lorient. Because I think it's one of those things, there's nothing after the word, so like you don't say the T, it's not Lorient. I think I was thinking of Latin Orient, and that's kind of what was in my head. So, Lorient. Ah, alright? Anybody? So anyway, we're going to accept. I think if somebody offered me 11.75 grand a week with a minuscule transfer budget and this is something. Do you agree with this, viewers? I just don't know how realistic it is that you would go through an interview process and they ask, right? They asked at least in this version of the interviews, hey, do you think this would be enough wage budget, enough transfer budget? And it's like, well, can I take a look at like the overall finances of the club? Can I look at what you got? Like, I think there could be a better comparison because before you go into the interview, you don't have that information, right? The only information you've got about their finances is secure, but that doesn't mean you have a big wage budget or transfer budget. So I think SI could do a better job of being like, here's the total wage budget we are currently spending and, the average wage and stuff like that. And again, if there's a way to see this prior to having the job, I want to know about it because I'm just not familiar, to be completely transparent with you. But I think dropping that information in the middle of the interview, yes, you can leave the interview and come back. I just don't think it's as valuable, right? Where it's like, let me see the big picture. Do we have anybody in the mix? Like, do we have any transfer offers out there? Rather than just dropping in. The goalkeeper is on a 6.28 in his last 5. That's jumped out at me. And apparently you have to have... okay, this is the French Cup. Let's go to... Okay, players under 16 are not allowed to play. That's the only... It's behind me. You can't see, but it looks to be... Is that the only rule? Surely there's more rules than that, right? Whoop. Only players registered for the competition are eligible to play. Transfer window... Oh dear. August to October. October to January 1st. Joker transfer period. 1 player from any French club. October 6th to January 1st. Injury replacement transfers only. So like, essentially in that middle window where, you wouldn't normally make transfers before the January window. Then January 2nd to February 1st is an open window. And then after that, it's injury replacement transfers only. Didn't know that. So now that we know what we're getting into, again, here's a club that had been in Ligue 1 and got relegated and spent a couple seasons there and got re-promoted and now are struggling again. That kit is awesome. I love that kit. Hello. Gotta love an actual kit in Football Manager. All right, my friends, let's go for it. None of this matters because we're gonna leave. Although I do want to hear your thoughts on that. Like, do you think it would make for a better series if it's, if I take a 1-year contract and see it out? Or, because you do get a ding on your reputation if you're constantly resigning. So that kind of crimps our style a little bit. What are your thoughts there? Let's go. Start negotiations. Contract length, 3 years. Can I do 1? Do you think they would do 1? None of this matters. They'd be like, hey, 6 months? Okay. 6 months. I don't think they're going to go for this. They want 3 years. I'm just gonna accept it. We're not staying 3 years. That's pretty much how it works. So let's hop forward and see what the team actually looks like. Of course, I hit stop recording right as this popped up. Les Merlus, which probably means like the orange. Merlus. I'm really glad I looked that up. Nope, not the orange. I forgot to note. I just think this is neat. They have a giant fish on their badge. Like, you can't really see it here. I'll put it in the next thumbnail, essentially. But Les Merlus, or Merlus, is the translation is the Merlucades, which is apparently a family of cod-like fish. Yeah, I definitely looked up the history of the club before I joined. Definitely. Right, so we beat out a Pascal Dupraz. I can't even click on the name. And they've raised some eyebrows, you know? Who's this guy? 18,000 capacity, great training, great youth, adequate recruitment. That's a good landing spot. Right, here we go. All right, what are they saying? Our top goal scorer is Terem Mofi, who is our striker with the bleached hair. Top earner is Fabien Fabien, who isn't even on the best 11. Cool. Wissa is a top. Okay, so this guy, professional squad. Okay. We got some loans. Chalaba from Chelsea. Okay. I definitely researched this. Definitely. This is exactly how I would do this. Okay. Play entertaining football. Well, good thing my, for some reason, my managerial profile is Route 1. Like, what? You know, like, what? Yes, I want to talk to the team. I want to do the press conference. We'll get through all that. Let's get to this. Okay. Let's go back to our, top earner is this guy, 33. He's a fringe player. That's fantastic. Didn't say he was the captain. Team leader, doesn't even play, has 12 substitute appearances, aging, falling apart leader, but he's resolute. He's got a good determination. Y'all know how much I love a good determination, right? This guy's not any good either. In comparative, I'm just saying comparatively. I'm not Jonathan. No offense, man. Don't hit the dislike button. Okay. Right. This is one of the players they pointed out. Okay, inverted winger on the right. Okay. So it looked like they're playing like that 4-3-3, kind of Liverpool style, right? Well, at least on the left side with the right inverted. This guy looks pretty all right. Love the determination of the squad. Lorient. Now, he's not so much inverted on the right. He prefers to be on the right, but he can also do the inverted on the left. Do we have a left winger? Here's our striker. Okay, pressing forward through and through. Pretty obvious there. Strength of 17. Nice. You like to see that. Do we have any right wingers? Like natural right wingers? This guy? He's not a natural. He's right-footed only. It looks like we should be playing a 4-2-3-1, right? Thus far, we one inverted, one winger, something like that. Decent little left back here. Regular starter, Swire. I apologize for all the things I'm going to say that are not correct. Dynamics. Starting off, they don't hate me. Yes. This guy wants a new deal. We got some want to go on loan. That man's hair. Shut up. That's amazing. That looks like a glamour shot. You know, got my hair coming down. I don't have any experience, so I can't speak to that. This guy wants to go on loan. Hey, you look like you can play. They've only played you twice. Okay. And this guy's not happy because he's only played once. Don't blame you. You're a squad player. We'll get you in the mix, brother. We'll get you in the mix. Hierarchy here. Okay, so we got some resolute and fairly professional team leaders, captain and vice captain. That's good. Let's just see what they think about me. No one knows. I am a mystery. Social groups, you do have a couple people outstanding here, not part of the main group. But overall, looks to be pretty decent. My first gut reaction, just looking at this, is a 4-2-3-1, which I kind of go, that's kind of boring. And you kind of also worry if you take that third midfielder and push him up, you know, just looking at the squad overall, right? Let's go to the stages here. This is kind of how I analyze things in my head. Scored 17. Okay, just for, you know, statistic purposes, that's fourth bottom. And against, top. So it's like problems on both ends of the pitches, right? It's like if you were mid-table with your scoring 4, now again, you know, like it's only 5 goals to get you to the middle of the table, 4 or 5 goals. So the main problem appears to be the leaking of goals, right? And again, you could argue 5 or 6 gets you back to mid-table, but like we are allowing a lot of goals. So that would be the first thing I'd want to focus on. So maybe not going down that path, but again, like maybe if you play a control possession, because I know people get upset if you say, you know, 4-2-3-1 is not defensive. It's like you can make any formation work, but I just worry if you take that third midfielder out of the actual midfield and push them up, you know, is that as good as if you had the 4-3-3, even if all 3 are in the midfield? So we'll have to kind of take a look at that, but maybe we could control the ball a little bit better. I'm gonna have to take a look at all the passing stats and all that kind of stuff and see what we come up with. The good news is, again, we have this cup game coming up where we can kind of like stretch our legs a little bit, figure some stuff out. Let's just see what the assistant thinks. Control, gegenpress, and fluid counterattack. I don't do fluid counterattack. That's not my game. And then what's our staff look like overall? Essential. Oh dear, there's gaps. Okay, so we're gonna just do we even have what are these guys? Fitness, assistant. We don't have a goalkeeping coach, so we got to start spending some money here. Just get some general coaches. Another scout. Dearie me. Gaps everywhere. Maybe they all left with the last guy. Maybe. Let's just take a quick look at the overall coaching team here. Okay. It's not very good. It's not very good. Like, this is what I'd want to see before I accept an offer, right? Like, I think that would be a fair thing to do, is like, just as a heads up, so you don't have to like calculate it yourself. It's like, let's just take a look at the staff that you're inheriting here. It's not very good. It's not very good. Maybe it's because there's not that many. We'll be hopeful. Recruitment, at least they're, you know, not, I mean, yeah. Okay. Medical staff. Whoa, it's just. And this is where you spend the rest of the episode posting jobs and going through interviews. But I think that makes sense. How bad are the finances, do you think? Is that secure? We know what the... So again, this drives me crazy. Do you think 244,000 would be enough? Sure. Like, I don't know. We're currently spending 267. Oh, that's you know, that's interesting. So what? I gotta come in here. Oh, I gotta agree to my season expectations before I can change that. But like, now I get to dump, you know, pretty much half, a little bit more than half, I think, if my math is right. 20,000 times 52 weeks, right? About $1 million of our transfer budget into this. So we're firmly in a sell and loan and have people pay our wages to get anything done scenario. But you know what? That's what the Relegation Ranger's here to do. Let me go figure some stuff out, and then I'll be back. This is a great screen to come to, in case you're wondering when you take over a club. It just really points out some things without you having to... Like, this is going to lead me to looking at the attributes, which I was starting to do, of the players. But when you get your assistance recommendations, dribbling is not a collective plus point, okay? Well, why is that? Dribbling. We got some decent dribblers. but maybe it's across the entire squad. So like you have to kind of check that. But there's not like any 20s right on dribbling. Concerned about the aerial ability among goalkeepers. Can't do anything about that really, other than get a taller one that can jump. Goalkeepers can't communicate. They're not really good with flair. Acceleration is terrible. Agility is terrible. 4-3-3 has contributed to conceding an average of 5 chances per 90 minutes while using it. Bad idea. Also vulnerable playing against a 4-3-3. Currently over budget. Not a lot of quality depth. Not really good at crossing, finishing, shooting from distance. Not good with off-the-ball movement. Goalkeepers can't kick. Poor first touch. Technique, stamina, jumping, pace. Like, okay, it's almost easier with this team to look at the positives, which include, we have some good prospects. That's your leading positive. We got some good assisting on the right side of the pitch, but not even half. But maybe, I guess, if you consider middle and left, okay, that's a good chunk. Have impressed going forward with 4-2-3-1, creating an average of 4 chances. Okay, we were talking about maybe going 4-2-3-1. Nardi is the best of 3 good options to play in goal. All right, fine. Abergel is one of 5 good options at right back. Why? Okay, he's a midfielder, so why? Okay. Is the best of 10 good options to play at center back. Chalaba. Okay. He's got, he's all right. We got to figure out what all right means. I'm guessing this is not PSG all right. The team in general impressive markers who work hard to deny their opponent time and space, so we can do tightly marking, so that would be a plus. Goalkeepers are good in one-on-one situations. We make it do like a high line, so that as someone's running in on goal, we could do something about that. Especially considering we don't have good pace to get back. We'd have to look at the defenders, right? Natural fitness is pretty good. Positioning is pretty good. But that's it. Like, all of the, like, widespread, like, dribbling, flair, agility, all the other things they have to say are negative. So it's a bit of a mess. All right, so this is kind of where we've landed. I'll show you their, stars and all that kind of stuff here in a second, but kind of going with that 4-2-3-1 feel and going, okay, who do we actually have? Because, some of these players that might have good attributes aren't even at the club, right? So when you look at this, we're definitely not a great corner taking team. So we need to avoid set pieces, because same thing on the free kicks is like, this is not our strength. And we're also just all right at heading. There's a couple, center back, left back situations where we got some heading and our strikers got some heading, or one of our backup striker, midfield winger guys does. Finishing is terrible. I can see why they haven't scored many goals. So we got to put ourselves in a situation where we're getting like tap-ins is what it feels like, right? So like that work the ball in the box, maybe. Dribbling is okay. It's not as alarming as I feel like that assistant manager report was. First touch is all right, so we can pass the ball around. We're not tiki-taking it, but like we're okay. Long throws are pretty garbage, long shots are pretty garbage except this one guy. So we're not, again, we shouldn't be taking shots outside the box. We're not very good with shots inside the box. It's like, so how can we limit the damage, by maintaining that possession is where my head goes. Marking is pretty good, as noted. Passing is pretty good. And penalty taking is terrible. Tackling is okay in the, the more defensive roles. And then we have a lot of center backs for some reason. Technical ability is all right. So I guess with that being said, this is how it kind of makes sense, I think, just to try, right? So you got to kind of figure this out. And the only, like, players that we're really leaving out are this Jeremy Morel, who I guess has been starting at left back or center back because he's left-footed. I don't think he's terrible, but he's 5'8". His acceleration and pace are pretty not great in comparison to some of these guys. Even though this is a right foot only, I guess I need to switch these guys. It's one of those things, and you can kind of tell maybe this is a variation of what they had been using with that 4-3-3. So maybe the 10, right? You see, he's got 11 starts, 1 sub. Maybe he didn't get as many appearances as somebody else that could play like that number 6 role, right? that's about it, right? If you look at the development center, let's just go down to the second squad or the B team or whatever you want to call it. We got some potential, and loaned out and whatever, but like there's nobody we can pull up to be like, ooh, like you're going to be really good. Same thing with the under 19s. Got some, again, like there's some potential here, but it's not going to help us. It's not going to help us whatsoever. So I do think, looking at the squad overall, like, especially if we're going to have to dump half of our transfer budget, I guess I have already accepted the expectations. Yeah, like that's 2/3 of our transfer budget just to solve the wage budget problem, right? So you go like, okay, is there anybody that's super expensive we need to offload? Well, Chalaba here is one of our best players, and we are paying for him, but like he's also one of the best players, so we kind of don't want to do that, right? Mofi's our sadly best striker at over 10 grand, so it's not like there's anybody up there. Now when you come down here, right, so this guy's the captain though, like I can't jettison the captain because everyone will hate me, so he's just gonna sit there on 16 grand and end his contract, and there's nothing I really feel like I can do about that. And outside of that, it's kind of, again, not that like 10 grand is nothing or 6 grand is nothing or whatever, but it's not like massive amounts. So I feel like even take this Franklin Wadja, not really going to be amazing. 325 grand, 1K a week, which doesn't really save us a lot, but like 325 grand, if we got 300 grand, that's a 50% bump in our current transfer budget, right? So could we go do some business? This guy is, his contract's ending. We can't get any value for him, but could we say like, dude, you want to go someplace else, like just to save the wage budget? We got another striker, so we do have another striker out there, the one with the amazing, this might be my favorite player just off the bat here, but he wants to go on loan. So I kind of go like, do we sell him for $1 million and get somebody else in on loan, or do we just use him so we don't have just one player that can play striker? Same thing here. This guy, could we put him on loan? Do we sell him? Like, he's not really gonna amount to anything ish, in my opinion. So like, again, 300 grand is a 50% increase. Like if we sold Nilor and Wadja for 300 grand each, like we would double our transfer budget. Now we would have to go out into we'd have to have scouts in the first place and go out and see if we could find some players that would want to join us, which is something I'm gonna be trying to figure out and go do. But it's like there doesn't seem to be a lot of wiggle room with some of these guys. Like we do have some players that are listed that they were listed before I got here, so if they go, that's fine. This guy is wanted by Lech in Poland, and how seriously? Well, seriously enough, there's no price set. I'm not gonna unlist that guy, because that's the thing you have to be careful of when you start a new save, is like, who's listed and do you actually want to keep them? Now this guy, no one's really come in for, but again, 4.7 grand a week for a guy who hasn't made a single appearance is a lot, in our setup here. So gonna go do some digging here. Let me see how long we've been recording. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop with kind of a general framework. Again, I'm gonna have to tweak the tactics a little bit, but I do like, right, the 4-2-3-1. If you go 4-2-3-1 balance, control possession, it automatically has you on an inverted winger and a winger, and I'm like, that kind of works for the players that we've got. Right now, some of this other stuff we kind of take a little bit of a deeper look at. Like this probably needs to switch, because this guy is not a ball playing defender. Again, using that higher line, if we're looking at some of these guys, pace and acceleration not great, but positioning is okay, right? Positioning 13, he's got good pace to get back and kind of cover, so maybe we put him on a cover versus he steps forward, so maybe that's an option, but he's not as good at it. But Nardi's good at those one-on-ones theoretically, 14, so that would help us from a support standpoint. It's not pretty though. So I'm going to go do some transfers, or I'm going to attempt to do some transfers. We get 2 days, and I think it makes sense to come back for the first cup game. In these, like, I kind of look at Relegation Ranger as like miniature saves, right? So we only have so many games, right? So we'll play. Next episode will be like, could we get anybody in quickly, or do we have anybody on our radar to bring in quickly? And then the cup game, and then we'll get stopped by PSG in the next episode. Let me know what you want to see, my friends. Hit that like button. Again, thanks for your support. It means a lot. We'll see you next time. What have I gotten myself into? I love this stuff.